Now let's take reactions to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 10-day visit to Europe with stops in both France and the United Kingdom. President's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, made the announcement in a post on X saying that the president departed Abuja on September 4th to commence a working vacation in Europe as part of his 2025 annual leave. He added that after the trip, the president will return to the country. The president was accompanied to the airport in Abuja by a delegation that included the governors of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, the secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, and ministers. His latest trip comes just 2 weeks after his return from Japan and Brazil for official state visits, while also making stops in Dubai and Los Angeles during that tour. Well, let's take some reactions. I'd like to pull this reaction, and this person detailed. It was a lengthy tweet, and I'll start. I just had to take some excerpts from that tweet. And he wrote, he was responding to Ononuga's post on X. He wrote, Mr. Ononuga, thank you for the update that our president is jetting off again for accountability. Nigerians deserve clarity that matches the office you speak for. First, your statement is vague. What exactly will the president do in France and the United Kingdom during this 10-day vacation? Please publish a basic itinerary with objectives, name counterparts, and expected deliverables. That is standard practice when presidential travel is framed as working time. It also helps the public track outcomes, as seen when Paris visits produced specific agreements last year. Second, context matters. The president has traveled to France frequently since 29 May 2023. By 12 April 2025, credible reporting had already counted at least 8 separate visits, totaling no fewer than 59 days in France. There have been further European trips since then. Please confirm the updated count. Third, the president has also visited the United Kingdom several times in office. The record shows a private stop in London in June 2023, a Buckingham Palace meeting in September 2024, a 2-week leave in October 2024, which included onward travel to Paris. Then meetings in London in April 2025 before returning to Abuja. Please give the official tally to date. Fourthly, there are persistent rumors that the president uses France and the UK for medical attention. Your office has repeatedly denied this. ICIR and other outlets have reported concerns which you and your colleagues dismissed as baseless. Given the public interest, it would be helpful to address this issue transparently rather than simply denying it. A clear medical travel policy for the presidency would settle speculation. While the ex-user went on to talk about Section 145 of the Constitution, which requires the president to enable the vice president act on his behalf when on vacation. Finally, he wrote, Nigeria is not a private enterprise. The president holds authority in trust. Transparency is the price of that trust. If this is a working vacation, show the work and the outcomes. If it is personal, follow the Constitution and let the vice president act. Anything less weakens credibility and fuels the very rumors your office says are false. Put the facts on the record and explain plainly why you cannot. Rufai, I saw you nodding your head a lot of,
yes,
I think that he was quite apt in all of the details that he posed.
In all of the details.
Really.
And that's the question. And see, Oji, that's why we keep saying it is sad for a country that wants to grow, that thinks about accountability, and we don't have the medical records of the president. Other countries, for God's sake, do show us the medical records of their president. Who was the African president that died recently that told the people that he was going for a medical situation before he passed? I think it was President Gigomp of, Namibia. He was upfront with the people. So, if for anything,
yes,
and those that keep arguing that his medical records are private, please, with due respect, if President Tinubu wanted to keep anything about his life private, he shouldn't have run for president in the first place. As long as he's our president, we have a right to ask and inquire.
This is it.
This France, think you almost every time. France, UK, with taxpayers' money. This year, God knows how many times he's gone.
100% I agree with you.
And that's why when Ayo was talking, the president should, if it's local tourism, it's not tourism.
No, but the explanation was quite vague.
I'm going by what the statement. It's not tourism. That's why they always, it was when we said we must demand accountability. They now showed us a picture of President Tinubu meeting the king in London. Then that's when they say that was the only thing he was doing and working. Yeah. We can't keep having this visit without even knowing what is going on there.
Transparency.
There's no big deal.
Yes, no big deal.
If there's a medical situation, release it. If there's a medical report, let us see it. If there's none, show us.
Everyday France.
And for that section 145, Ayo.
Yeah.
They will not respond to that because over the years they've already put that lacuna in. They will say if it's not up to 21 days threshold, then you don't need to hand over and all of that. That's the kind of. And you know why I'm saying this?
Yes, why?
President Buhari did the same. He left for months.
But President Buhari was 6 months at a time.
Which was quite a time. And we keep forgivable.
So hold on. Let me take this tweet and I'll come to you. Another Twitter and X. I mean, because this story is quite viral. It's quite shocking at the point. At the same time, only because he just came back. Well, this person on X wrote, at a time when hunger, unemployment, insecurity, poor health care, fuel crisis and unbearable inflation are killing Nigerians daily, a president has no business running abroad for vacation. True leadership means staying home, facing the problems head on, and sharing in the suffering of the people you govern. Go ahead.
Let me even start from the beginning. Yes. Before he became president, the president had been going to France. So we already saw the writings on the wall, that when he does become president, he might very likely be going on these trips. Recall that before his inauguration as president in 2023, he was away in France for 34 days. In fact, what they said at the time was that he went to go and plan the transition, proper transition committee. And we see a lot of people going to France as the new capital of Nigeria because now, they almost put Aso Rock extension in France at the time. So what we're seeing now is what we already had an indication of before he became president. And there were speculations even at that time on the status of his health and whether or not he should declare. And this is where citizenship, active citizenship comes into play. As to the people that we elect into office, to what extent do we demand of them in order for us to repose our trust in them to lead us as a people? Are we satisfied with not knowing their records, or do we make it a condition to the extent that we make it as part of a constitutional provision that anyone who wants to lead us as a nation must declare his health status? I say this because there's an implication for you as a taxpayer. Every time the president goes out of town, guess who's footing most of his bills? We, the Nigerian people. And so you who haven't had enough money, or you don't have enough money to know where your next meal is coming from, have part of your commonwealth being spent to maintain the health and lifestyle of a public official abroad. Beyond that, and I still maintain this, Rufai, that if on the surface of things, what Mr. Bayo Ononuga says he's going to do is annual vacation. And to be fair to him, he is entitled to annual vacation, and we cannot legislate as to where he chooses to go on annual vacation. We can raise questions around why the destination of France and the United Kingdom so frequently. But when it has to do with his vacation that is stipulated as part of his contract, he can go anywhere he wants to. But I did mention that as chief marketer of Nigeria, there are nice places in Nigeria that even for the optics, he can choose to go for 1 week, 5 days, and then spend the rest of abroad. Why can't he not go to I talked by Yankari Game Reserve? You know what happens? What happens is that it brings in revenue. Yeah. It means infrastructure development will be in those areas. If the president chooses to go to these places, he can visit the Kano Walls. He can go to Yankari Games Reserve. He can go to Indore Hills in Ondo State. He can come to Lagos and go to Nike Art Gallery or go to the beach. There's so many beach fronts. But let me just warn Nigerians. He's going to United Nations General Assembly this month. So let me just prep you that he's going to be away again to the United States of America.
Just a minute, please, because we have to go. Yeah.
Talking about, the president has gone to France, has gone to UK. It's a frequency of it that people are concerned about. The last time he went to the same France and UK, he spent 19 days. He came back just before 2 days. Now they say he's going for 10 days. Now, Mr. Ononuga says he's going on a working leave. He didn't say he's going for medical reasons. So that medical reasons that people are talking about is speculative because that's not what he has said. However, transparency and accountability is important. I had commented on this morning. I only want to add a footnote. Now, I've seen a picture of when the president was leaving. Some governors went there to see him off. Now, some of those governors, I don't want to embarrass them.
Yes.
When he was returning a week ago from Brazil, they were at the airport to receive him. Look, people should call their governors to account. If they have no job in their states, they should stop going to airports to receive president,
shake hands.
To see president in an utter display of sycophancy. Don't they have jobs in their states? And some of them go to this Abuja just to go, goodbye, sir, welcome, sir. What kind of governors are these?
All right. Well, all right, Dr. Abati, well said. We need transparency. Yes, that really is the sum up of this conversation. Well done, you all. Thank you very much.
You see, I think at this point, it will be fair enough to suggest that the Nigerian government, being led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, look into establishing a branch of Aso Rock in UK and France. Yes, at this point, that would be necessary. Perhaps it will save Nigeria more cost. Because the way our president moves every 3-4 days now, this burden is on the taxpayer, isn't it? The suffering taxpayers. He come today, tomorrow is gone. Next tomorrow is leaving again. If he prefer to stay in Europe like every other Nigerian citizen who has escaped through the Sahara Desert, let him do so. If that's going to save Nigeria more cost. You get the point now. This news is coming again now, like very often, like we've often seen. He says, Tinubu begins a 10-day vacation, departs Abuja for Europe. When he returned here, when was it? How long is it now that the president just came back from a tour from Japan to Brazil? And then from Brazil, we didn't know where he go to until he eventually returned to Nigeria after numbers of days. Then today now he's getting a vacation to Europe tour again. I don't get it. Because when I saw this report, as it came from the essay to the president, Bayo Onanuga, he said President Tinubu departs Abuja to begin 2025 annual leave. He said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu departs Abuja September 4th to commence a working vacation in Europe. A working vacation for 10 days in Europe as part of his 2025 annual leave. He said the vacation will last 10 working days. Say President Tinubu will spend the period between France and UK and then return to the country. I don't get it. If it has to cost Nigeria so much, running our aircraft and our aviation fare, carrying the president from Nigeria to UK, from Nigeria to France every now and then, let Nigeria establish a branch of Aso Rock in Europe. Because I know if you even put it in one country, the president will be going to another country. They can try establishing it in all the countries of the world so that the president can be operating from whichever of the country and just forget Nigeria. Because it is obvious that this man don't always want to be in Nigeria, where is obviously his primary constituency of assignment. His primary point of assignment and duty is Nigeria. There is so much job to be done at home, but the president seems not to be aware. Because every now and then he stands before the public to score himself very high, to hype himself, to brag of things that are not there. Now he has traveled again and he will travel again. 10 working days. Oh God. I mean, my Nigerian people, I don't get it too. Nigerians are passing through hell. Nigerians are passing through a lot. The ordinary Nigerian man is suffering. And for the head of the country, for the leaders of the country, to be living lavishly, wasting the taxpayers' money with the multiple taxation they are coming with in this manner, it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make sense because in a rare sense, if Nigeria was a country where the people, where majority of the people are truly sane, these are enough to escalate tension and revolution. It's enough now. I'm suffering and you are wasting my money on things that I don't even know what you are doing. I don't know what they mean. There's no reflection of these trips in our life as the ordinary Nigerian. I don't get it. But yet, we lack the unity to come together to say this is no longer acceptable. Hence, it should continue. But let the federal government of Nigeria look into this. They should consider having a branch of Aso Rock in all the countries that Baba always want to go and relax. so that he can save us that cost, that aviation fuel. The moment he win election, he should just go there. You get the point? Maybe from the day he was sworn in on May 29, 2023, he should just go there and relax. Then when election come again in 2027, he can come and contest. If he succeed in rigging himself back, he return back there till 2031. This will save the country fuel cost, aviation fuel cost, running our aircraft at a very high cost at the detriment of the taxpayer, who are indeed hungry and living in extreme and abject poverty.
Immediately you challenge these boys and tell them to their face that we have not given up on Nigeria, and tell them that we are still going to attack every single thing that they bring forward, and tell them that Nigeria must happen. They start to look for every means to threaten you. Just because I reminded these guys that we are not done. If you think that 2027 is rule yet, you are joking, because Nigerians are not going to lay low and allow you step on them, march over them, roll over them, and walk into what you want, wherever you want to get to. This country belongs to all of us. There is no Nigeria that is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. And whether or not some of you want to believe that you have the country to at will and do whatever you like, it's a lie. Nigerians will resist you. And in 2027, more Nigerians will resist you people, like more than the ones that resisted this failed criminal government in 2023. And I want to beg Nigerians at this moment, the only way we can show to Bola Tinubu and his criminal gang that we are ready to challenge him is to go ahead and register to vote. If you have not collected your PVC, see, there are so many things, so many indications. A lot of information has been peddled into the public space to make it look like everybody has lost hope. We have not lost hope. Let me tell you, we are making plans to situation ourselves, to put ourselves in a position where we put in the effort of citizens. There are citizenship effort that will be put in. All of those things will come up as the election gets closer. However, there is an institutional framework that must be done, and that's why we need INEC and judiciary. Do not believe, after all, the electoral act that we used in running 2023 election was amended in 2022, barely a year too. So it is not over. We still can. When all of these political dramas, shenanigans have happened, a lot of things will settle in. Then we will use our lawmakers, especially those that believe. There are still lawmakers who believe in the future of this country, who do not believe that we are done yet. They will put in the necessary framework to review sections of the Electoral Act that requires effort, will, political will, so that Nigerians can be able to freely decide. If we don't go and register to vote right now and prepare for this, when all of these efforts have been done, we will not. And do not lose hope. I'm telling you, a lot of things, as I talk to you now, you see Festus Keyamo, a lot of these guys writing, talking, WIKE is talking, it should not come to PDP. They know there is a political tsunami that will happen a couple of months' time. And all of these windows will be shut. All of these doors will be blocked. And these guys won't be able to do anything. WIKE knows, Bola Tinubu knows, Keyamo knows, APC knows. And they are waiting for it. They don't know where we are coming from. But we must prepare ourselves. It is not time for us to lament and forget to do what we're supposed to do. A lot of them have gaslighted me with the fact that, oh, you live abroad, oh, come and do, they come and fight. Let me tell you, there was a time in Bola Tinubu's journey that he relocated abroad. He lied that he went to school in Chicago, but of course, we now later found out that he went to do drug dealings. At some point after the 1993 elections, he also ran on exile. From there, he was part of those that formed the ATIKU. So there's nothing that is happening now between all of us finding our feet outside of this country. The reason why I can confidently say what I say without fear or favor right now is because I'm in a place where laws are working and protected. When it is time, we will all be back to the country to come and fight for the country. So nobody can gaslight me with all of that. Don't let anybody deceive you. We will do it. We are here to ensure that whatever happens to us as a people, those of us on the ground, we can draw attention to it. Right? So don't worry. I will do it within the framework of the law. We will confine by legal status of our country to ensure that we continue to do the right thing for the betterment of our country. So I beg of you, Nigerians, wherever you are watching me from, participate. Go and get yourself registered. Whether you are of age or you are being of age, do not lose hope. What these enemies want you to do is for you to lose hope and remove your eyes from the current way they run the country. It is not possible. There's no other country that we can call our own. Irrespective of any passport you have in this world, any opportunities you have available, Nigeria still remains our father and motherland. So I beg you again, using this platform, let's go register for vote. Let's prepare. Many things, I've been sitting here talking with a lot of people. Many things that happened in 2023 cannot happen in 2027. And I say that with my full chest. Many things that happened in 2023 cannot happen in 2027. Just be prepared. Go get your PVC. Go register for voting. When the time comes, we will tell Bola Tinubu that he doesn't own Nigeria. He will tell his people that they don't own Nigeria. Whether of his tribe, of his party, of his ethnic affiliations, of his religious affiliation. Every Nigerian owns Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria gives me equal power to decide the fate and future of Nigeria, just like it does. We will put them where they belong when the time comes. Go get yourself ready. 2027, it will happen the way they didn't know. Get yourself ready. And I mean it. My name is Mr. Common Sense, and I lie not.
And return as governor of Sokoto State for a second term.
You must have had a very tough time, a difficult one at that. Your former political allies, your friends, now have become political opponents. And those who have helped you politically, Bola Tinubu on one and Nyesom Wike on the other hand. It's a tough one for you, isn't it?
It's collaboration. It's not anything tough. Once it is about the country. Once it is about being altruistic and nothing personal. You have never had me taking on Bola Tinubu personally. You have never had me taking on Nyesom Wike personally. We disagreed in principle on the way direction of things are going. I had no problem personally with President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, but we disagreed. And I left PDP for APC. And when I presided over the House of Representatives, we had our back and forth on so many policy issues. It wasn't personal.
But when it mattered the most, there are those who say Tambuwal left his friends. Why? Why does it look like at the very nick of the time that some of your friends need you the most?
It's not about my friendship with you. Sheon, if today, and I'm saying this with every sense of responsibility, Vice President ATIKU comes in here, and Nyesom Wike comes in here and requests this my phone, which is personal to me. Today, I will personally give it to Nyesom Wike.
Oh, so he's more friend to you than ATIKU?
As a personal friend.
Oh.
But when it comes to leadership of this country, and leadership of the people, tomorrow, not even today, I would rather support ATIKU than Nyesom Wike.
So you believe in the leadership of an ATIKU than a Nyesom Wike?
It's nothing personal. It's about this country. And
permit me just 10 minutes of your time to discuss what I tagged the stupidity of taxing fossil fuel consumption in Nigeria. I am beginning to be supremely convinced that those who purport to rule us from Abuja to the 36 states are actually being teleguided by some Western agents. They are agents to Western leaders who are against the use of fossil fuel and production of fossil fuel in Nigeria. Nigeria today is not even a third world country. We are below third world country by reason of every socio-economic indicators. There is no human development indicators that do not show clearly that we are actually one of those at the rock bottom of the third world cadre. And for us to be able to get across to becoming a second world country, we need investments of at least $3 trillion over the next 30 years. And we need to harness every of the natural resources God gave to us. There is no production, there is no manufacturing process, there is no technology, there is no invention, there is nothing that is produced that has no bearing or input from things that are produced from the earth, either on the surface of the earth for agricultural productions or beneath the surface of the earth mineral resources. The Almighty God made it so. And that is why when we talk about the basic economics 101, the 4 factors of production, the first on the list is the land. Then we have the human capital, which is the topmost of the chain, because it's the human capital that harnesses other 3 factors of production. Then we have equipment and machineries, which is also the invention of man, the human capital, from the human capital. And then we have funding, which is very, very critical. Money, capital. Now, in Nigeria today, God has been so kind to us. We have 64 million hectares of arable land mass. Surface, beautiful arable land mass. We have water tributaries. We have the right atmospheric temperatures and conditions, the right sunshine, rainfall that can enable us, even without irrigation, to farm 9 months out of 12. But of course, with irrigation, we can do 365. With irrigation, mechanization, and technology, we can farm 24/7, 365 days, and which is what we are pursuing. We have gold, we have bauxite, we have lead, we have oil, we have coal, we have everything. We have lithium, everything that God blessed mankind. That is why I tell anybody who cares to listen. Sometimes when we talk about Eden in the Bible, I say to anybody, if you search deep, Nigeria may actually be part of Eden. But one of the worst things that have happened to us is that we have been very, very unfortunate to be ruled and governed by puppets. There are puppeteers in the West that are pushing them to do whatever they want them to do, to the detriment of the people. Tell me why any sane person in the National Assembly will even pass a law that mandates Nigerians to pay 5% on fossil fuel production and consumption in Nigeria. It does not make sense. All over the world, nations try to maximize the natural resources, the latent resources, the human capital that God had given to them to maximize production and ease the welfare of their people, improve the welfare of their people. We have coal reserve of almost proven coal reserve about 339 million tons. In fact, some say it's about 2.8 billion tons of coal reserve. We have crude oil reserve, proven 37.5 billion barrels. Even if we explore further, it may even get up to 50, 60 billion barrels. We have proven gas reserve of 206 trillion standard cubic feet of gas, worth over $1.4 trillion. Naturally, you would think that creative-minded leaders will see how do we harness this. But for whatever reason, these guys are pandering to the interest of those who do not want us to develop, who want Nigeria to remain slavish. I expect leaders, try-thinking leaders, to do everything. If I am Mr. President, or if I am happen to be a governor of a state in Nigeria, what I should be doing is how do we harness, how do we aggregate the factors of production to produce, to maximize what we have here. We should be finding, researching, and discovering how we can explore more crude oil, produce more crude oil, refine more crude oil in this place at a cheaper cost. In Saudi Arabia, in Russia, they are producing crude oil at an average cost of $10 to $15. Nigeria, it is higher because of insecurity, inefficiencies. We can do better. What I expect any leader, any honest leader in Nigeria should be thinking about, how do we impanel research and development and other things that will enable us produce competitively. China produces about 4.5 billion tons of coal every year. China consumes 5 billion tons of coal. China is the largest consumer of coal by miles, and they use over 40% of it to power their industrial complex. And China is not slowing down. Nobody's disturbing China. Nobody's harassing China. China also, being a smart nation ruled by smart people, did over 7 million hectares of bamboo plantation. In India, they are planting massive hectares of bamboo, massive hectares of moringa oleifera plants, because these plants also help them to gain carbon credit, because moringa oleifera, the tea side trees and the bamboo sequesters almost about 30 tons of carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere per hectare of land. So China has devised ways of emitting more carbon dioxide, absorbing more carbon dioxide, and even earn over $20 billion annually on carbon credit. Nigeria ticks better boxes than China. I have had the privilege of speaking to the governors of the North and the governors of the South, and I've told them clearly, look at Indonesia and Malaysia. Before now, the propaganda by the Western scientists, which is not true, was that the palm oil was not good. But today, it is currently proven that the palm oil, the oil from the palm, is actually the best oil than any other oil from any other plant-based oil. Between Indonesia and Malaysia, they control 85% of the $82 billion crude palm oil value chain. In fact, Indonesia have actually banned export of crude palm oil because they understand the value in the crude palm oil. The demand is so huge. is growing at an cumulative average growth rate of about 8 to 12%. Here in Nigeria, as at 1945, under the great leadership of men like Michael Lokbara, Awolowo, and the rest of them, we controlled 45% of the global palm oil market in Nigeria, in the whole world. If we had maintained that trajectory and not lost track, by now we would have been exporting nothing less than $38 billion worth of that product. Today, we consume 2.4 million tons. We import practically 60% of that. And we know that we have the natural land mass and everything to be able to cover that domestic supply gap. And to cover that domestic supply gap, we just need to plant 90 to 120 million new palm trees across 500 to 700,000 hectares of land. Set up over 1,680 cottage factories that can do 20 tons capacity per day. And in this, we can, if we start today, I spoke to the PDP Governors Forum in 2019, and I told those in the north, they can do 1 million hectares of the date palm plantation. When Bible talks about land flowing with milk and honey, it's talking about dairy, which is the north is very rich in. It's talking about the date fruits. I showed them clearly how Saudi Arabia in 2006 started the date palm revolution. Today, they are doing over $2 billion worth of it. They've covered over 250,000 hectares. And they are using it to checkmate the desertification of their land and to create oases of wealth. And Nigeria is the only place in the whole wide world where the date fruits all year round because of our natural endowment. I showed these governors how they can create agro parks, 2,500 agro parks, that they can also provide collocation for pastoralists in such a way that they can create over 109 to $200 billion revenue from this value chain. For those in the West, I told them about how they can do cocoa value chain and the palm value chain. Those in the South, I shared with them clinically and clearly how these things can be done. Michael Okpara did it over 6 years ago. Why are the current governors and Mr. President not doing it? Why should any same person talking about taxing fossil fuel consumption when we should even be talking about how we can extract it more, produce more, refine more, and make so much money out of what God has given us naturally? Does it make sense? The carbon emission from aviation in California alone is more than in a day. It's more than what we emit in Nigeria in a year. If the West is taxing themselves to reduce ozone layer depletion, they want to do other things. It's their business, it's not our business. All we just need to do is, as we are producing and ramping up, we are planting moringa palm trees, moringa oleifera trees. We are planting date fruits. We are doing a lot of tea side trees. We will do a lot of bamboo tree plantations across Nigeria. So as we are extracting more, emitting more, we are sequestering more. We net, we balance it. At the end of the year, we register our green plantations, our plantations with the carbon registry in Lagos here. Register it. We sell our carbon credits out there and make so much money. Net, we will make more money from carbon credits. I lead a group that have started championing this. In the Southeast, we have a revolution now to do over 11,000 hectares of the moringa oleifera plantation. From every hectare, we will get at least $500 to $1,000 on carbon credits every year. Multiply it. That's almost about $100 million. We are championing development of, at least in AMIDST, where we have found foothold, 17,000 hectares of the cocoa plantation, 11,000 hectares of moringa plantation. We are doing massive palm plantations. And we are doing this because we understand the importance of this in generating massive revenue for Nigeria, ensuring price and forex stability, and creating massive job and income and reducing poverty in the land. Why should any same person be thinking about taxing fossil fuel consumption in a country that actually depends on fossil fuel? You only use tax to discourage consumption of a thing. We can generate more revenue, extracting these things, refining them, getting the value chain, exporting, and using them here. That's the only way we can generate more money than we can collect charging 5% tax on the people who are already down. Today in Nigeria, over 197 million Nigerians live under poverty by the World Bank indicator of $64.50 income per month. Go and check this. And the other day, Taiwo was trying to stupidly justify this nonsense. How do you create cheap transport network by taxing petroleum products? If you want to create cheap transport network, we know what to do. The current production capacity of all the car assembly plants in Nigeria is about 14,000 vehicles every year. We practically need about 700,000 vehicles every year in Nigeria to ease transportation. So if they are very smart, what they should do is zero tariff on tractors, on bulldozers, on trucks, haulage truck and buses that will help ease transportation in Nigeria. That is what common sense expects us to do until we start putting enough cars. The only thing we should put taxes on is our luxury cars. Those of them bringing Bentleys, buying private jets, bringing Lamborghini. We will put 300% tax on them because those are luxury. What kind of country is this? And somebody is trying to justify nonsense. And what they do is play politics, plan for 2027. The governors and local government chairmen are doing nothing. We have a country that God have put on a keg of gold. All we need to do is open that keg and harness it. I expect us to pass a law. Nobody gets oil block or marginal field without setting up refineries here in Nigeria. I expect us. Look at the US. The US on a daily basis put about 13 million barrels of crude every day. In fact, the US have to invest so much in technology and see how they can develop fracking technology to enable them extract their own crude oil. Yeah, all we think is about how to steal money from the masses, how to tax them, how to collect it, and how to loot and steal. We're not thinking about how we can actually engender and enhance productivity in the country in such a way that will create massive jobs and reduce poverty and end the insecurity here in this land. What kind of mental madness is this? God have mercy. There's no justification for this rubbish.